More than 4 years of my life was dedicated to the sport of competitive cheerleading. No, not the type of cheerleading that you see on professional and college games. No, this type of cheerleading requires a rigorous training schedule, including practices, tumbling classes, one-on-one sessions called privates, and more. So in total, if I'm calculating all that in my head, about 6 to 7 hours a week is dedicated solely on cheerleading. Does this sound familiar to anyone? It should, because this is the typical life of an athlete, spending up to 7 hours a week just on your sport. So I am passing around right now a picture of one of my old cheer goals that my team and I wore during competitions. Sparkly, right? And a little bit oversized, you could say? Well, yes and yes. But that's the point. Cheer goals have to be big and showy if those people judging our competitions from so high up where practically ants have any chance of seeing us or them. So you might be kind of thinking, why am I talking about something that I hardly ever wear? Well, I'm talking about it because this cheer bow is a perfect representation of the glitz and glam side of cheerleading. And what I mean by that is a side of cheerleading where you're required to, where the entire team is required to look more uniform. So everyone puts on similar makeup, they do their hair a similar way, in a really big fashion. Again, so those judges can actually see you and to let you have hair. And as it turns out, this cheer bow is also a metaphor for how I always try to stay confident in myself no matter what. And then, of course, there's another side to cheerleading that is less talked about and a little less known. And that other side is the side to cheerleading where all that preparation for these competitions takes place. So I'm a pretty bad estimator, but I would say 20% of my cheer career consisted of competitions, and the other 80% is that other part I was talking about earlier. All of those practices, tumbling classes, and one-on-one sessions. So what I mean by that is 80% of your cheer life will consist of getting your body into shape, i.e. conditioning, working on a new tumbling pass, perfecting an old one, working on a new stunt, perfecting an old stunt. And then all that work is accompanied by hundreds of bruises, sore muscles, and pushing yourself to your mental capacity week after week. So it is no wonder that cheerleaders get defensive when people say, cheer isn't a sport, or all you do is wave pom-poms, because that is not the case. So this cheer bow actually also represents the hard work and determination I put into anything I do in my life. And then really quickly, there's actually another aspect that this cheer bow represents. It represents my journey of self-discovery that I encountered through cheerleading, because it is almost impossible not to grow up and kind of find out who you are through cheerleading, because cheer itself is a journey.